CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Good evening and thank you for being here on a sunny Friday afternoon that's just too nice to spend inside, so we're taking CTV News out on the street for you tonight, taking you into your weekend. Well, as the temperature rises here, so does the wildfire risk, and the Coastal Fire Center is urging you to be careful this weekend if you're out in the woods and in the backcountry. So far this year, there have been no significant wildfires on Vancouver Island, but fire officials say that can change and change very quickly. In May, there were 21 fires, and all of them were caused by people. June was wet, as we know, so wet that there were no fires reported, but the sudden onset of summer-like weather has fire officials on alert.
In the Coastal Fire Center, we've actually gone from very low yesterday to low today. For it to jump up that quickly means it's drying out very fast. We're looking at probably by Monday we're going to be in moderate, and that's only in the course of a few days. We want people to be careful with their campfires this weekend. We know that, they have the right to have a campfire, but be cautious with it.
Abandoned campfires are one of the biggest concerns for fire officials. They say it's vital you make sure your fire is extinguished before you leave your campsite or go to bed for the night. Well, the new jobless numbers are out, and Canada's unemployment rate was down. It fell by just a touch last month to 7.2%. StatsCan says there were about 7,300 new jobs created in June, and that's better than the 5,000 jobs that had been forecast. June was also the second consecutive month of relatively weak job growth after two stunning months in March and April, when the Canadian economy added 140,000 new jobs. BC's jobs minister says Asia is largely responsible for the increase in jobs in the province last month, 3,600 of them. That drove BC's unemployment rate down to 6.6% from 7.4%. Unemployment in Greater Victoria was up just a tick, a tenth of a point, to 5.3%. There's a large quantity of cocaine off the streets of Greater Victoria tonight after Victoria Police busted an alleged drug dealer the police say was supplying a dial-a-dope operation downtown. A 30-year-old woman is now facing charges of trafficking after police seized 7 ounces of cocaine, $4,500 in cash, and a digital scale in a downtown condo on Johnson Street. Police estimate the value of the coke on the street at more than $10,000. It's believed the woman was supplying dial-a-dopers. She's been charged and is due to appear in court at a later date. Well, you could find yourself blocked from your online lifeline as early as next Monday. Hundreds of thousands of people all over the world are going to be cut off from the internet as infectious malware spreads like wildfire. That means there'll be no access to email or social networking for some people on Vancouver Island. Police say the FBI will be shutting down servers to stop the vicious virus that's known as the DNS changer from spreading. The malware was created by hackers who were paid to drive internet users to phishing sites using fake advertising links that lure you in. Police say the virus attacks your computer, leaves you with an error message anytime you try to explore the web. But it gives hackers all of your personal information while it's doing it.
So what users would do is they would go in and enter their username, password, account number, hit enter. Nothing would happen, and then they would just think, oh, there's something going on with the computer, so they would sign out. Well, as soon as you've entered your username, password, and account number, you've actually sent it to the criminal who now has that information, so that once you sign out, they can sign in, and now they have full access to all your information.
The FBI's been onto this and last fall installed clean servers so that people would not lose their internet access right away, but come Monday, some of the replacements are being turned on, and police say that means there'll be about 9,000 Canadians, maybe you, who'll lose your internet service. If you want to check if your computer is infected, you can go online to the following website, dcwg.org, to undergo a free virus scan. Well, here's a problem that is all too familiar in Greater Victoria around Saanich and UVic, rabbits. They are now taking over the city of Nanaimo, but the mayor says he is not considering a cull. A provincial wildlife biologist says the numbers appear to be up, way up in Nanaimo, and if something isn't done soon to stop the growth, the rabbit population could soon be out of control. In recent years, the urban rabbit population has multiplied, mainly because people abandon their pet rabbits, and other people feed them once they become feral.
The rabbits in Nanaimo definitely are increasing in numbers. If left unchecked, most feral populations will start to increase and cause problems. Rabbits can cause damage to landscaping, personal property, infrastructure. They can burrow under sidewalks, walkways, cause tripping hazards. So they can definitely, in large numbers, can cause significant issues.
The mayor of Nanaimo hopes a public education campaign will be what it takes to stop the growth of the wild rabbit population. A bylaw prohibits people from feeding wildlife within the city of Nanaimo's boundaries. The mayor says the bylaw will be enforced on an as-needed basis, but hopes that people will voluntarily respect the bylaw. More now on another invasive species that's making its home on Vancouver Island. The province's damp, cool spring may have been a little too wet and gray for most of us, but it was perfect for bullfrogs who have come here to live. BC's rainy season has been a bullfrog boon. A Victoria-based amphibian hunter says the invasive species are populating rapidly across the South Island near lakes and ponds. The biologist says due to the wet and windy spring in Victoria, park patrols have been unable to keep an eye on the ballooning bullfrog population. And the rain makes it even harder to see the noisy creatures. The bullfrog is listed as one of the 100 worst alien species in the world. It's heading into a weekend that looks like it's going to be perfect, but we begin again this hour with something that was far from it. A crash today in France at the Tour de France that is going to make winning the Tour all but impossible for Victoria's Ryder Hejdahl. Ryder got caught up in a major crash. He went down not far from the end of the 6th stage today. He was injured, and he has pretty well been knocked out of contention. CTV's Myra Lawrence joins us now with more on the story and an update. We've talked to Ryder's dad, Mike.
Yes, Hudson, we have talked to Ryder's dad, and he's going to give us some information about how the Hejdahl family is feeling about this, and I'm sure Leonard also spoke to his son, so we're going to hear from Leonard in a little bit. But the entire Canadian cycling community is broken up about Ryder Hejdahl's big fall. Many were hoping that the Tour de France was going to be Ryder's next great victory. Hejdahl entered the day 9th overall. He went down hard in the pile-up, suffering a large gash on his left hip. He finished more than 13 minutes back of the yellow jersey, leaving him all but out of contention in 108th spot. The Hejdahl will continue to be evaluated by team medical staff, and determination will be made tomorrow as to whether he will start the race. Ryder was in no mood to speak to the media post-race, but he did issue this statement. He said, "I got caught up in the crash like countless others and immediately realized that my left leg wasn't good. Once I got up and on a bike, I couldn't pedal with any force. The pain was too much. The team helped me get to the line, but just getting there was all I was able to do. At that point, it was just about getting to the finish. I'll work with the team medical staff tonight and try and get some rest, and we'll have to go from there. I'm not sure at this point what tomorrow holds. It is the Tour, so you want to do everything you can, but we have to wait and see. That was one of the worst crashes I've ever seen, and I hope that everyone else who went down is okay."
I mean, his overall GC hopes are going to be pretty hard to achieve now. So, but it means that he goes for stage wins now, and you know, he's not quite the focus that he was before of the other contenders. So, you know, maybe they let him go and he gets a stage win or two. So we'll still be cheering, that's for sure. You know, like he's still got a shot to do really well, and you know, you don't want to lose sight of what he's accomplished so far because he's done so much, and there's the Olympics too. So yeah, we'll still be cheering.
Yes, all of Canada will still be cheering Ryder on the rest of the way, as we did when he stood atop the podium at the Giro d'Italia. Ryder became the first Canadian to ever win a Grand Tour event. He was hoping to be the first to cycle since 1998 to win both the Giro and Tour de France in the same year. It's the second straight year that Hejdahl's Tour de France has been marred by a crash.
Yeah, it seems to be over the years it's getting worse. That I mean, there's so much on the line now, the contracts, and there's so many good cyclists like any professional sport, and so these guys are going so hard for the whole thing, and yeah, the stakes are getting higher, and guys are crashing.
Another crash there for him.
And Hudson, the really disappointing part of this is that we never got to see Ryder in his bread and butter, which is in the mountains. The mountain stages start tomorrow, but Ryder will continue to ride on. He does have a big bruise, but nothing is broken, thank goodness. So we still could see him climb the rankings, and who knows, we could get to see him win a stage. He could even finish as high as top 10. So we'll hear from Leonard Hejdahl coming up during Vancouver Island Report.
Well, let's not count him out. If he makes
right.
top 10, I mean, he's strong on the mountains. So.
That's right. So, I mean, like, we still need to cheer him on. He could still finish top 10. That's still impressive.
And we have the Olympics, like Bill said.
That's right.
All right, Mai, we'll check in with more at 6:45. Thank you. Well, it's fishing season and it's boating season, and unfortunately it's also bad guy season. Burglars and thieves are targeting boats in a marina in Nanaimo. Police say things were stolen from at least 4 boats at the Stones Marina this week, probably late Wednesday night or early Thursday morning. Investigators think somebody got into the vessels through unlocked doors and hatch covers, and once on board stole food, alcohol, DVDs, cell phones, and a television.
The only land access is a gate, and that gate is always locked. So the owners felt that their property was secure. Not everyone's living on their boat, but I think that's what's handy for us is that people do live on their boats. So we actually got information from people who noticed something was strange or felt something odd during that time frame. So that's really good, and we would ask people who do live on their boats there to keep that heightened awareness.
RCMP remind boat owners that it is always important to lock your vessel, even if it is moored at a secured dock. If you have any information about who's responsible for these boat break-ins, you're asked to contact Nanaimo RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Well, Vancouver Island is once again at the top of a list, a very coveted list. We have been voted the best island to visit in Canada or the continental U.S. by readers of Travel and Leisure magazine, and they know what they're talking about. Those same readers have ranked the Wicked-in-Shin as the top resort in Canada. The Tofino property is world-renowned, drawing tourists and islanders throughout the summer season, the storm watching season and beyond. Second place on the list also went to a Vancouver Island hotel, the Sauk Harbor House, which was ranked second, just behind the Wicked-in-Ish.